Hey guys, welcome to Food is Good. And today, guys, you guys are in for a treat today. We're going to be doing, in honor of St. Patrick's Day, we're going to be making a meal that's amazing. So we're going to be doing corned beef and cabbage. We're also going to be doing latkes, or what I like to say growing up, potato pancakes, and we're going to be doing cabbage with that. So guys, you're in for it. I'm so excited. I even wore my green pants today in honor of it. So check it out. So, guys, welcome back. And we're going to be tackling, the first item we're going to do is corned beef. It is amazing. There's a story behind it. I'll tell you. First, I'm going to get the corned beef out. And there's a couple of different ways you can get your corned beef. You can actually go to your store and ask your local butcher, can he cut you a piece of brisket? And there's two parts to the brisket. There's the flat part and the pointy part. You want the flat part, it's gonna have a little fat on top of it. You can do that. Here's the deal. If you do it that way, you're gonna have to go through the process of letting it brine. And that process is about 10 days, 5 to 10 days, just depending on the deepness of the flavor. And there's a few items that you're gonna need, and you can look that stuff up, you know. But what we did, we kind of took a shortcut. I've done it before. It's a really good product. You can buy from any local grocery store, and that's this corned beef right here. Now, I will tell you about this corned beef right here. It also comes with a seasoning pack. When you get your corned beef, it's gonna be in this gel-like substance. That's part of the marinating process. So when you get the corned beef, we've already washed this one off. You want to take it, rinse it off really good, put it in your water. And here's the deal. Normally we season salt, garlic, different things like that. You don't have to do any of that with this water right here, with this liquid, rather, we'll call it that, because there's enough salt already in the corned beef that you don't want to add more salt to it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and wash up my hands real quick, and we'll get back to it. So while we're doing this, we're going to go ahead. There's a pre-seasoned pack that comes with it, and you can use this. You definitely can do this. I actually have the exact same stuff right here. I'm going to put in there. This process is going to take about 2 hours. So it's not a dish you want to start that afternoon. It's something that if I was going to cook it, or when I've cooked it, it's been an all-day process as far as I didn't need it right away. So I would recommend cooking something like this on Saturday or Sunday, or if you have the day off, unless you grew up where I grew up, and especially at certain times of the year, when different people came over at my aunt's house. I'll say this, she's probably gonna get upset with me, I hope not. But here's the deal. We would all get together at my aunt's house. Somebody would come in town, and all 20 of us would get together, and we would start cooking. And it would honestly be like 11 o'clock at night before we're eating. So, and we'd have to, do you want to go wake them up, or do they want to eat? And I'm telling you, depending on what the meal was, we'd let them sleep. So that meant more for whoever braved the hours and stayed awake. So what I'm saying, I said that to say, let your beef, if you're going to cook this beef right here, cook it on the weekend so you can start it early. Maybe something you do after church. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and season this up. And what this is a little peppercorn, a little juniper berries, a little crushed red peppers or crushed pepper flakes. It's got a little cinnamon in it also. And you're just going to let it do its thing. Like I say, it's going to cook at least 2 hours, about 45 minutes per pound. This was about a 4-pound brisket. So you're looking at somewhere around 2.5 hours. My math may be a little off. Don't hold it against me, but pretty much you'll know when it's done. Guys, so what I went ahead and did was went ahead and put our corned beef over here to the side. Like I said, it's going to take it a while to cook, but what I really want to do is put some more flavor in it. So never be afraid to season your food. So we're going to put in something we call a mirepoix, which is nothing more than onion, celery, and carrots. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start peeling the carrots right here because we're going to add it to it. Like, the corned beef is probably going to have enough flavor in it because of the peppercorn and all that we put in there. But, you know, you want to add a little bit more to it. So we got that. I'm gonna go ahead and take this carrots and we're gonna cut it up. And when you're cutting this up, since it's gonna cook for so long, cut it in big pieces. If you cut it in little small pieces, I believe it's gonna cook away. So we wanna make sure those pieces are big enough that they stay in there, the flavor comes out of it. So that's the difference. So we're going to go ahead and put a couple more in there. Right here. So like cut some more here, here. So we're just going to add this to our corned beef over here, which is cooking. Smelling good already, but hey, we're just at the beginning stages of it right now. So I'm going to cut these celery about the exact same size that I cut the carrots. Want them to be uniform in size, so they'll cook about the same length of time. I'm going to get you. Someone asked a question, what kind of knife are we using? Guys, I guess if anything, I'm kind of a knife snob. I remember a time I went to my mom's house and I was like, hey, Mom, where's your knife at? Because I want to cut something or do something. And I'm looking through trying to find knives. Couldn't find the right type of knife. She probably had the knives that you get from the store. And they're okay. But when you're using them as much as we use knives, we want something a little sharper. And she said to me, listen, Ceasar, I am not the chef. You are. So from that point on, I started bringing my own knives, my own cutting board whenever I cook off-site somewhere, because the right tool is like working on a car. You want to have the right tool for it, and having a really good sharp knife is part of the job. So what we're going to do, we got that over there cooking. It's smelling good. I can smell the cinnamon and the cardamom cooking over there. The next thing we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and start on our potato cakes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this right here and I'm just going to start peeling it. Guys, there's a couple of different potatoes you can use. I use a Yukon Gold often. Sometimes I may use a red potato, a red skin potato. But for this process right here, I want to use a potato that's a little bit more dense. And that's going to be your regular Idaho potato. You can pick it up at any grocery store. It's a really good potato. So what we're doing, we're just peeling it. You know, really peeling it. And some people say you peel cutting towards you and you peel going away from you. I don't know if it really matters. I think the part that really matters is just don't cut yourself. That's the part to me. So I don't care how you peel it, just don't cut yourself. So we're going to go ahead and peel this up right here. And what we've done is we got one potato. I'm going to take the other part of this onion right here. So this is probably a 1 pound potato. And what we're going to do, and this is going to be really cool. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take it and I'm going to grate that potato through this grater right here, because we're making potato cakes. Now there's going to be a lot of moisture in the potato, and there's also going to be a lot of moisture in the onion. So once you finish grating it all together, you want to press all the liquid out of it. And a way you can do that, you can use a cheesecloth, or you can put it through a fine mesh strainer, which we have a few of them here. Go ahead and press it because you want to get the liquids out of it, and then we'll talk about the other things you want to add to it. So that's what I'm about to do right now. Okay. So we're just grating the potato. This is fun. You know, I'll be honest with you, it's not too often that I actually grate potatoes. I normally grate cheese. I grate my butter if I am making biscuits or something like that. I saw somebody doing it. One time I was going through an airport and they was grating their butter, and I thought, man, that's kind of ingenious. And, you know, when we're doing a lot of baking, we grate our cheese, because if you get the stuff from the store, it's going to be kind of waxy. It's going to have the preserves on it. So if you really want that natural flavor, grate your own cheese. It only takes a second. So we got that out the way. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and grate this onion up in it also. Not very hard, guys. Really simple. So exact same thing. Just going to grate the onion up. So we're grating it up. I keep rotating it around also because I don't want it to fall apart on me while I'm grating it. Which I'm struggling here, but it's working. We got it. So I'm just going to throw the extra aside, put that in there. I'm going to set this in the sink here. Next thing we're going to do, once we've grated this, and like I said, there's going to be a lot of moisture in it. So I'm going to go ahead and squeeze out the moisture from my potatoes and my onions. So we'll come right over here, and you can see how much moisture is actually coming out of it. Right here. Now, like I said, if you want to eliminate using a fine mesh strainer, you can use a cheesecloth. It may be a little easier doing it that way, but I think most people have one of these at their house instead of cheesecloth. You can pick the cheesecloth up from the store. They sell them all day. So we're just squeezing the liquids out of it right here. And I'm going to put it back in there once we've done it. Got most of the liquids out. I'm going to wash my hands right here. First of all, I didn't want my hands to smell like onions, so we're doing that. Okay, so now that we've grated our onions, we've grated our potatoes, we're gonna go ahead and add in the rest of our ingredients. You're looking for something that's gonna bind it and make it stick together. We're gonna get this hot enough over here, put a little olive oil in it, and we're gonna add in our eggs and our flour, little salt and pepper. All-purpose flour. Can you use self-rising flour? I wouldn't recommend it, but you definitely want to use a little salt, a little pepper, a little egg, and flour. So that's what we're going to do. So while our corned beef is still cooking over there, we have our oil heating up over here. And I put a little olive oil in it because I want to brown it on the outside, and you'll see why. So this is cooking. I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of the ingredients. Right now, I have the onions in here and the potatoes in here. We've already squeezed all the moisture out of it. I'm going to go ahead and crack 2 eggs. So we're going to crack an egg in here. Crack 2 eggs. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and whisk these eggs up. Whisk them up really good. Add it here. And then I'm going to go ahead and add in 1/2 cup of all-purpose flour. Let's pull out the extra. Well, right here. We're going to add that in there. A little salt. About 1/2 tablespoon, or 1/2 teaspoon, I'm sorry, of that. Salt, a little pepper, right here. And last but not least, a little baking soda. And we're gonna do about 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. And we're gonna add it to it, right here. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna use our best kitchen tools there are, which is your hand, and we're just going to start mixing it up, kind of going around in a circle, incorporating all of the ingredients together. So we have the flour, the baking powder, eggs, onion, potatoes, which is the star of it. So we got it right here. And once you get it to this point, we're going to go ahead, and what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to take a regular scoop, and we're going to scoop up about this much of it because I'm going to press it flat. So I'm going to put it right here in my hand, press it flat, and then we're going to put it in this hot oil. And you know it's hot because I can hear it sizzling. Do a couple more. I'll wash my hands afterwards. Right here, a few more. These are going to be really good here, guys. Right here. I'm going to do one more. One more. Growing up, I remember telling my kids, don't play with their food. This wouldn't really be playing with your food, would it? We're going to put it right here. We got those. I'm going to go ahead and wash. Well, let's do one more. Let's do one more. Let's do one more. You don't want to overcrowd your pan, but I think I can get one more in there. Get one more in there. Yep. Man, it smells really good. Put these in there. All right. Now, while that's doing its thing, I'm going to go ahead and wash my hands again. So I can smell the corned beef cooking over there. I can see my potato cakes are cooking over here. I'm just going to move this to the side. Actually, I'm going to put this in the refrigerator for later. So while these are cooking up, I can see they're starting to brown on the bottom. They're looking really good, smelling really good also. You know, I like pepper, so I'm going to crack a little bit more pepper just on top of it. Here. Let's take a look here. Oh, this looks good. You can see the first one we put in browning up quite nicely. Yeah. Could have let that one sit a little bit longer, but it's coming along. It's coming along. So while these are cooking and doing this thing over there, I'm gonna go ahead and wipe this cutting board off, and I'm gonna start on my cabbage. So this right here. So guys, like I said before, there's a couple of different cabbages you can buy out there. You have the Savoy cabbage, you have the box chard cabbage, and then you have your regular green cabbage right here. If I'm doing any kind of southern dish except for maybe a stuffed cabbage, I'm gonna use this one here. The leaves are a little bit more tender, and I just think they hold up better to the cooking process. You can also, if you want to get a little bit more color in your cabbage, you can take the green leaves right here, roll them up, and chop them and put them in there first. Let them cook for a little, and then add the more tender leaves to it. So that's what we're going to do. Go ahead and cut these up right here. Get them ready, because those potato cakes are coming along. We're just going to sit this to the side right here. Actually, I need to go ahead and flip some of them. I can hear them saying, what about me? What about me? So we're flipping them right here. It's coming along. It's smelling really good, guys. So we got that cooking. I'm going to go ahead and cut this down the middle. And get my cabbage ready. You can cut this a couple of different ways. You know something? The core is on this end. I was going to say I absolutely did not take the core out, but all the core is on the other side. So before I do that one, I would definitely take the core out. So that's what I'm going to do right now. You can see all the cores right here. You want to take that core out, because if not, it's going to be a little bitter. One thing about taking the core out, though, the core is actually what helps hold your cabbage together. So there again, I'm going to go ahead and cut this because it's really big. I'm going to put it to the side and then cut the rest of it right here. All the same size. All the same size. So these are cooking up nicely. Really good. They smell really good. Look good too. Now, you may be wondering, how long do they have to cook? I'm going to say these are probably going to cook probably about 6 minutes. You just want to brown them on both sides. The inside's supposed to be soft. The outside's going to be a little hard and crispy. Well, not hard, but just a little crispy. Well, that's what we got there. So I'm going to let those cook. I'm actually going to sit it over there, get my other skillet on so we can start on the cabbage. So we're going to take this right over here, and we'll put it back together, pull it all together in a second. So the next thing we're going to do, we're going to take our cabbage, get our skillet hot, because we're going to do fried cabbage. So you definitely want that skillet to be very hot. So that's what happened. We've already cut the cabbage up. I'm going to take a quick look at the corned beef. It's coming along. What I think I'm going to do is just move it around just a little. So we'll get this here. Because it smells really good. It smells like Thanksgiving, but I think that's the cinnamon that I'm smelling in there. This right here is cooking. Almost ready here. So what I went ahead and did, we went ahead and got our cabbage cooking, put the tougher, darker greens in, and then we added the lighter greens. So those things are coming around really nice. I'm going to go over there and check on the potato cakes, because we were keeping them warm over here. We finished them cooking them here, so we're keeping them warm over there. I'm going to go ahead and pull them off, let them sit over here. Let's go here. So we're pulling them off. And the reason we're doing this, you want the napkin. We line the plate with a piece of napkin so it will absorb any extra grease that you may have. So we're going to sit them right back here. We're going to stir these up a little bit more. I'm going to check on the corned beef because I can definitely smell it over there. We'll do this here. Corned beef is looking good, smelling really good. So we got that working. Need to season my cabbage. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a little salt to it. Do something that may be a little controversy. I'm gonna add a little sugar, just a little. Just take the bitterness out. Just a little sugar to it. And then obviously put some black pepper in there. So we did that. Go ahead and stir them up a little bit more. It's looking really good. I remember growing up, we ate a lot of cabbage. A lot of cabbage, a lot of greens. Looks really good. Now we're actually frying this cabbage up. Get back in there. We have this here. So what we're gonna do is, the corned beef is almost ready. The cabbage definitely looks like it's ready. The potato latkes are definitely ready. I'm gonna go ahead and clean some of this up, and then we'll come back and we'll start plating it and let you see what it looks like. Hey guys, so our cabbage is just finished up. Our potato cakes are finished up. I went ahead and pulled the brisket off. Whenever you're cooking any type of beef or any type of meat, you want to let it rest, and we've talked about it earlier. So the juices will go back to its natural places. So if you cut it too soon, all the juices are going to run all over the places. So we've taken our corned beef out, let it rest. We've also trimmed some of the fat off of it because there's a small fat cap on top of it. So what we're going to do, it's resting, it's looking really nice. What I'm going to go ahead and do now is I'm going to put this corned beef on the cutting board. And now what I'm going to do, very important here, I am going to cut this corned beef, but the way you cut it, you want to cut against the grain. If you look at it, you have a couple of different, you have it going this way, and then, so when you cut it, you want to cut against that. If you cut with it, two things are going to happen. First thing, it's probably going to be chewy, and then the second thing, it's going to fall apart on you. So always, whenever you're cutting your meat, especially beef, cut against the grain. So what we're going to do now, we're going to start cutting this corned beef. And cut it thin. Man, it looks good. We're going to cut this up right here. Having a sharp knife is very important. And you want to cut it thin. There's a lot of different things you can do with corned beef. My grandmother used to cook corned beef and cabbage. It was one of those, like I said, it was one of those Sunday meals that we would do when she got home from church. She'd come in and she I don't know, I guess she started it before she went to church. Obviously she did, but it was really good, guys. So I'm just cutting this corned beef right here. It's looking good. I can't wait to try it. Stephanie's gonna love this. Right here, we're just cutting it. Just cutting it. I'm gonna try a piece of it. That's so good. That's really good. Ideally, it's brisket. And the reason it's pink is because of the salt that they put in it. It's like a pink salt, like a curing salt. The extra bonus there for you. So we got that cut. I'm gonna cut all of it. Get a little faster here. Looking really, really good. Okay, so we got this cut right here. So the corned beef is cut, cabbage is done, potato cakes is done. Now guys, we're gonna start plating it. Part I like the most. So first thing I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna start with a little cabbage here. Take our cabbage, and one thing I'll tell you about the cabbage here, got a little charred. That's part of it, man. It's fried cabbage. If it was stewed cabbage and it came out charred, that'd be different. This right here, we're gonna put some cabbage on it, right here. Then we're gonna take our potato cakes. But this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna take a couple of those potato cakes right here, put them on there. And then with this, I'm just gonna move this to the side. Next thing we need to do, I'm gonna take my green onions. Do need to rinse them really quick. I'm gonna rinse those. Whenever you're using any kind of raw vegetable, rinse it off. So I'll break a piece of this off right here. And what I'm gonna do is, I'm just gonna garnish my potato cakes with the green onions. Right there. So we got that. Actually, put a little sour cream on it. And if you don't have sour cream, you can use creme fraiche. Put a lot of sour cream on top of it. Right there. Some green onions. Right across here. That looks really, really good. And then corned beef, which is the star of it. Right here. So, you can see, guys, potato cakes, sauteed cabbage, and corned beef. Really, really good. Now, with all the extra corned beef I have here, there's a couple of things you can do with it. You can make a Reuben. Reubens are really good. We'll talk about that another time. But you take your corned beef, you fry it up, and you put it on some rye berry, some rye bread. You can do it like that. I'm not going to go into the details of making all the Russian dressing and all that stuff. But that's what you can do with your corned beef. I've done it that way. It's amazing. This is amazing. And guys, thanks for joining me, Ceasar, on this St. Patrick's Day episode. I'm about to get started. And remember, food is good. God is great, and every day is a gift. See you next week.
Hi, this is Amy Mann with CTN WTNB, and I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you so much for watching our network. We're so glad to be in the area, and we're so glad to be bringing you local programming. But did you know that we are a listener-supported station? We depend heavily on viewers like you donating to us. And so I would like to come to you and I would like to say, prayerfully ask you to please consider donating. The information's on the screen. We hope to hear from you soon. God bless you.